Throughout the past 12 months, there's been some amazing games on Nintendo's hybrid console. But which ones have been the best? Well, the team behind Switch Player magazine have come together to decide the 10 greatest titles from this year, and we're counting them down to reveal our favourite. So get ready, because these are Switch Player's top 10 games from 2019. Kicking off the list is Ori and the Blind Forest, the Xbox One exclusive that has followed Minecraft and Cuphead to make the leap to Nintendo Switch. Even though it's a few years old, the enchanting platformer still holds up, and is certainly one of the more challenging games we've come across this year. So we're glad Microsoft has continued to experiment with putting its games in our hands, and who knows, maybe we'll be seeing the sequel, Will of the Wisps, pop up on the console next year. Sailing in at number 9 is Maritime Mystery: Return of the Obra Dinn. With its unique time-bending gameplay, Lucas Pope's first-person detective game had us hooked from the very first moment we set foot on the cursed vessel. The mix of observation and deduction needed to unravel the complex fate of all those on board, combined with its distinctive visual style, offers an unrivaled and compelling experience to make it one of the best titles this year.
Mutiny! Mutiny!
Switch Player's art director deemed Dragon Quest Builders worthy enough of the top place on his list, but once the scores were tallied up, it only managed to reach number 8 on our countdown.
At a first glance, those unfamiliar with the first title could think that Dragon Quest Builders 2 is just one of those many Minecraft clones. However, due to an unexpected mixture of concepts and ideas from different games, Dragon Quest Builders 2 delivers a very unique experience, where the block building mechanics are a welcoming additional element of a greater and unforgettable adventure. If you're even a little bit interested on sandbox building titles, I'd say that Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a must. However, even if you're not too fond of the openness of titles such as Minecraft, Builders 2 may also appeal to you, thanks to its more focused narrative. After all, it's just one of the best titles of 2019.
Who knew that a game about a goose terrorizing a quaint English village would be one of the greatest titles of 2019? Yet here we are, still having a honking great time with House House's bonkers bird bully sim. It may not be as polished or deep as some other releases, but that doesn't get in the way of the delightfully absurd shenanigans you'll get up to. So do yourself a favour and give this one a gander. Although it's the best-selling game on Switch this year, Pokémon Sword and Shield hasn't proven itself to be the very best in our chart, coming in at number 6. Still, Oliver Roderick believes it's deserving of high praise.
Pokémon Sword and Shield represented the first main series Pokémon games to appear on your TV screens and not just on a handheld system. As a result, the Galar region, a new Pokémon setting based on locations seen across the United Kingdom, is a crystal clear HD world which takes in stunning landscapes, eerie forests and rundown, undesirable towns. But it's the wild area, the major new addition to this 8th generation of Pokémon, which is the outstanding feature of these new titles. Gone are the random encounters in the long grass of previous generations of Pokémon. As was the case in last year's Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Pokémon now march around the overworld, easy to find and waiting to be caught. Otherwise, Pokémon Sword and Shield offer the same familiar gameplay that you became used to on the 3DS, the DS and the Game Boy before that. While Pokémon Sword and Shield aren't perfect, given their heavily cut Pokédex and comparatively short runtime, they are nonetheless Pokémon games which have kept a consistently high standard of quality since way back in the 1990s.
If there's one Nintendo character that's bound to show up on a best of list, it's Mario. And true to form, he shimmied down the flagpole to number 5 with Mario Maker 2. While the Wii U gave us a chance to play in the Mario sandbox for the very first time, the Switch sequel has refined the formula to let our imaginations truly run wild. And it's a genuine joy to go online and discover some other players' devilishly difficult levels and ingenious designs. Just missing out on a podium finish is Fire Emblem Three Houses. By deftly combining the turn-based tactical gameplay with a school management sim, Intelligent Systems has allowed the series to evolve from its roots into a deep and engrossing game that deserves more than just one playthrough.
What should we do, Teach?
Kill every last one of them!
Astral Chain had plenty of fans from the team, which is why it's taken bronze in our countdown. So here's features editor Richard Atkinson to tell you why it ranked so highly.
When the masterminds behind games like Bayonetta and Nier Automata came together to create an exclusive for Switch, the results were almost always going to be positive, so much so that it's one of my favourite games of 2019. Everything about Astral Chain is refreshing. This is for me the biggest draw I got from my playthrough. The story was surprisingly gripping with a well-voiced cast and enough anime-inspired cutscenes to want a fully fledged film to be produced. The introduction of Legions is great too, and having an easy-to-operate menu system to bolster their stats and switch their special moveset makes things a breeze. The addition of tethered allies helps create a combat system that's slick, easy to master, and just great fun to play around with. What Astral Chain managed to do was to prove to the masses that the Switch was more than capable of showing off some truly beautiful visuals. From the alien astral planes to the hustle and bustle of the main area, the Ark, every inch of the game was stylized to make this game stand out as a piece of art. From character design to environments, it really is in its own league, and I can't wait for Platinum Games to at least tease a sequel. I can only hope.
Link's Awakening was one of 2019's standouts for Switch Player magazine, especially for founder Paul Murphy, who awarded it his Game of the Year.
This has been a generation of remasters and remakes, particularly on the Nintendo Switch, and one title that got a much needed update was The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Originally released in 1993 on the Game Boy, it was one of my favourite games of all time, but that time was showing somewhat, with the limitations of the base hardware showing to anyone that still played the adventure. Thankfully, Nintendo again partnered with Japanese developers Grezzo, and they have worked their Zelda magic once again with this release. Link's Awakening features 8 dungeons, packed with an eclectic mixture of taxing puzzles, interesting side-scrolling segments, and a terrifying nightmare boss. This Nintendo Switch revision has some truly fantastic visuals, featuring the traditional top-down style from the earlier adventures and brought to life with some truly vivid and imaginative toy-like charm. There's a real shine and beauty to them. The musical arrangement is also impressive, as you'd expect from a system that can reproduce some amazing phonics rather than beeps and chirps. The controls are not impacted by a lack of buttons, unlike the original release. You have certain items permanently assigned to certain buttons, such as the sword, shield and the Pegasus boots. This leaves item slots free to be assigned and used as needed. These tweaks and changes really enhance the experience and makes what was a magical adventure feel refreshed, rejuvenated and brought right up to date. It's such a majestic title and a must-have for all adventure fans. It should definitely be in your collection.
Although it's not actually set in a mansion, but a haunted hotel instead, it's easy to forgive Luigi's Mansion 3 as it's our best game of the year. And Oliver is back to explain why we crowned the spooky platformer our number 1.
Luigi's Mansion proved something of a cult hit when it launched alongside the GameCube in 2001. This year, we finally got a big screen successor. Whereas the first game had a solitary mansion to ghost hunt in, and the second had numerous different places to hoover to death, Luigi's Mansion 3 sees the mustachioed Mario brother work his way up a towering hotel, where the management staff aren't as they initially appear. Each of the hotel's 17 floors takes on a different theme. One is set up like an ancient Egyptian crypt, another has the appearance of a pirate ship, and an accompanying desert island bar. The undisputed highlight, however, is the film studio floor, where Luigi is tasked with helping a seemingly friendly film director ghost with acting out scenes in 5 different scenarios. While Luigi's Mansion 3 sticks closer to the formula, which charmed players so much in the GameCube original, there are new additions this time around. Professor E. Gadd allows Luigi to make acquaintance with Luigi, his slimy green doppelganger, who is able to fit through narrow gaps in steel bars, walk across spikes without taking damage, and slide into pipes to access areas Luigi can't manage. It's a change which keeps things fresh, but it's not so much of a change that it detracts from the ghost hunting gameplay everyone came for. Luigi's Mansion 3 is likely to be as well remembered as the original game 20 years from now. For that reason, you should definitely check it out.
So that's our countdown of the best games from 2019. Were your favourites in the list, or have we overlooked some of this year's standouts? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.